Dear students, my name is Jordan Simeonov, and I would like to present the topic of inventories of obsolete pesticides. The inventory is an accurate record of the pesticides in stocks, enabling us to determine which products should be categorized as obsolete pesticides and which are usable. Cleanup and safe disposal of obsolete pesticides have high costs, therefore the interventions must be prioritized on the basis of a detailed inventory of pesticide stockpiles and contaminated sites. An inventory should be reliable as it is the solid basis for planning, budgeting, and executing removal activity which determine the identity of the contaminant, its relations to people and to the environment. It should be based on actual field data gathered at every site where stocks exist. The collected information should then be inserted in the pesticide stock management system, a web-based application developed by Food and Agricultural Organization used to record, monitor, and manage stock of pesticides, including obsoletes. This is the title page for presentations of the Erasmus project TOXOER, Learning Toxicology through Open Educational Resources. And now, let us go back in the topic and include some more detail. What's the meaning of inventory? This is a detailed, itemized list, report or record of things in one's possession. The process of making such a list, report or record. The items listed in such report or record. The quantity of goods and materials on stock. And also an evaluation or a survey as of abilities, assets, or resources. A reliable inventory provides a firm basis for prioritizing pesticide sites according to the level of risk that they pose to public health and the environment. Identifying the manufacturers, suppliers, and donors of pesticides who may be willing to provide resources for their disposal and remediation. Planning the subsequent disposal of obsolete stocks. Planning the remediation of contaminated sites. Developing a program to avoid the reoccurrence of obsolete pesticides. So let us consider several of the basic inventories. Qualitative and quantitative inventory of pesticide application, transport, and storage. This is identification of the existing positive list of pesticides and quantities, the variety of crops cultivated, principal pests, methods of application, storage and disposal, plant protection policy. Inventories of pesticide production, import, export, number of producers, formulation of companies and suppliers and main users. These are lists of producers and produced and formulated pesticides, export of pesticides, list of exported and imported pesticides, pesticide trade and distribution, packing and labeling. Inventory for identification of the responsible authorities for pesticide regulation and laws. This provides the identification of the principal organizations responsible for pesticide regulation and enforcement, like interagencies, collaborating activity, and the role of non-governmental ecological organizations. An important item is to define who is authorized to have a right for veto in decision-making, implementation, and control. Inventory on the economic parameters underlying the usage patterns of pesticides. It provides an identification of the potential loss related to plant diseases, pests and weeds, and also for the cost of the pesticides and their application. It makes cost-benefit analysis and is an inventory about the crops cultivated and crop production loss from non-treated crops. This is a classification of the active agents. Another important inventory provides a classification of pesticides, active ingredients, and data on health hazard, ecotoxicity, solubility, transformation rate, extent of sorption, persistence in the environment, and so on. Formulation of common procedures and criteria for admission of active agents in the products for sale. This inventory deals with the common criteria based on ecotoxicity, behavior, and persistence in the environment in order to protect soil and aquatic ecosystems and drinking water. Positive lists for active ingredients. This inventory works out a classification of pesticides in relations with established criterion risk estimation and provides a recommendation list of pesticides. Measures for reducing the environmental impact of approved active substances. The inventory develops a model legislation with special requirements for pesticide use and a recommendation of legal policy and management framework required to improve the environmental situation in concern to pesticide contamination in each particular region. Elaboration of a strategy for pesticide use in different environmental polluted media. The inventory provides the existing OECD European approaches, which are used with respect of elimination of all pesticide active ingredients and which pose a threat to the sustainability of key functions of the agricultural soil and the surface water. At the end of the presentation is the closing page of the TalkSoil project, where you can see the logos of the participating educational institutions from 7 European countries.